25 spine-chilling ghosts exposed on camera. Discover the terrifying paranormal activity in Volume 3. Lisa's heart hammered as she clutched the camera, the red light blinking ominously in the dim light of her living room. It was a stormy night, the kind that makes shadows twist unnaturally. Her kids, Max and Lily, were sound asleep, but the house was not as quiet as it should be. Whispers slithered through the air, wrapping around her like the chill creeping into her bones. Laughter, disembodied and eerie, echoed from the corners of their home, urging her to look closer. Something lurked in the shadows, no longer a mere figment of her overworked mind, but a genuine threat that gnawed at her sanity. When the elderly couple next door vanished, Maplewood's perfect neighborhood began unraveling. The disappearance sent shockwaves through the pristine streets where perfectly manicured lawns masked something dark beneath. Lisa often heard neighbors whispering, their lips curling into knowing smiles as they exchanged uneasy looks. Mr. Jensen, the authoritative neighborhood watch leader, had a way of smiling like a predator, reassuring residents while staring into their souls. Just a busy life, he'd say about her claims of supernatural events, but there was a darkness that cloaked the town, making her doubt anyone could be trusted. Each night dragged on like pulling teeth. Click. Her camera recorded every creak and groan of the house. Suddenly, a toy stuffed bear shifted on the floor, moving as if tangled in unseen hands. Lisa's breath hitched, and she felt the weight of dread spill over her. Then came that heartbeat, a rhythm all too familiar, pulsing against the silence, like something was watching them waiting. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system, and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. With each growing night, Lisa could feel despair creeping into the cracks of her family dynamics. Max would ask innocent questions, his wide eyes swirling with curiosity. But Lily, clutching her worn-out stuffed bunny, would tremble under the covers, eyes darting at shadows that danced on the walls. What was happening to them? Panic consumed her one fateful night as lightning illuminated a dark silhouette behind Max, heart racing. She grabbed the camera and breathed heavily, hoping against hope to catch something, anything. That ink-black form seemed alive, lingering just at the edge of the frame. Lisa called the police, but they dismissed her fears as madness fueled by exhaustion. Their laughter stung, echoing in her ears like the laughter of something sinister lurking within her own home. As the days wore on, whispered secrets began to surface. Neighbors confessed their own suspicions, but with each revelation came an oppressive dread. Mr. Jensen loomed large over them, his smile deepening, revealing a man whose watchful eye held dark intentions. Lisa felt the ground under her feet eroding, pulling her deeper into Maplewood's sinister folklore. In the midst of dinner one evening, Lily spoke a chilling phrase that chilled Lisa to her core: "They're waiting for us." The phrase echoed like a dreadful incantation, and the shadows flickered. The camera became more than tech, it was a window to a world tangled with darkness, a gateway that beckoned them closer. What did the couple truly want from Lisa and her family? As she grasped the camera tighter, she knew with a sinking heart this was only the beginning. The truth awaited, and it might be a truth no mother was prepared to face. The midnight hour hung heavy, each minute stretching into an eternity. Lisa sat rigid on the couch, the camera firmly gripped between her clammy hands. The incessant whispers had taken on a rhythm, muted and cruel, like a haunting lullaby meant to lull her into despair. She dared a glance at the children, cocooned in their blankets, oblivious to the encroaching dread. Suddenly, the light flickered, casting grotesque shapes that danced across the walls. It was then she noticed the shadows converging, swirling like dark smoke in the corners of the room. Swallowing hard, she focused the camera towards it, heart racing. The red light blinked, capturing whatever sinister force was weaving through her home. A muffled thud interrupted her concentration. The sound came from the kitchen. She pointed the camera toward the source, breath catching as the noise repeated 3 distinct knocks. The kind that send chills racing down spines, punctuating the night with urgency. Max? Lily? She whispered, her voice barely escaping her throat. Their sleep remained undisturbed, but the echoes of dread crashed against the walls of her sanity. She rose slowly, one foot in front of the other, as if moving through a dense fog. Each step felt heavier, pulling her closer to an unthinkable fate. The kitchen door creaked open, revealing a veil of darkness thick enough to choke. The camera's red light illuminated scattered kitchen items, remnants of a hastily forgotten meal scattered like breadcrumbs. But there, in stark contrast, lay a sticky note placed deliberately on the table. Her stomach twisted as she approached, words scrawled in an erratic but familiar handwriting. "They will come for you." A sudden jolt coursed through her veins, that handwriting reminding her too much of Mr. Jensen's curiously predatory smirk. She staggered back, nearly crashing into the wall. Out of the corner of her eye, movement flickered. Lisa turned her head fast, hoping against hope that it was just a trick of the light. Instead, a figure stood at the threshold, blurry and faint, yet unmistakably human. Mom Max's voice shattered the moment. With a mix of terror and maternal instinct, she swung the camera towards her son. "Stay back!" She screamed, but Max didn't even flinch. Instead, his expression morphed into that eerie calm, the kind that sent icy tendrils creeping along her spine. "I saw them, Mommy," he said, his voice eerily steady. "They don't want to hurt us. They want to play." Lily's eyes blinked awake, and she joined her brother, clutching her bunny. "They said we can join them," she murmured, almost dreamily. A bone-chilling laugh erupted from beyond the kitchen, deep and guttural, twisting the air itself. Lisa felt her knees buckle, and she staggered back, instinctually raising the camera, still recording. Maybe, just maybe, evidence would save them. The laughter grew louder, ringing through the house, reverberating through Lisa's bones as shadows began spilling from the corners, crawling toward her children. "Run!" she shouted, lunging forward, the camera swinging wildly. Viscous darkness poured from the kitchen, reaching out like grasping hands, eager to snatch her children away. But Max and Lily stood frozen, entranced by the encroaching figures that teased the edge of the light. Panic clawed at her throat, all she could hear was the echo of that laugh, her own heartbeat pounding with a primal urge to save them. Lisa lunged forward, snatching her children's hands, dragging them toward the safety of the living room. The shadows morphed, disfiguring as they fought against the pulling force of light. As she backed away, staring wide-eyed into the mounting darkness, she felt a cold breeze swirl around her, brushing against her back like icy fingers. "Mommy," came Max's voice again, quieter now, as they reached the edge of the living room. He looked to the darkness with wide eyes. "They want us there, asking questions." Unraveled threads of logic raced through her mind, panicked visions of their neighbors floating past her thoughts. There was no going back now. They were no longer safe here, Maplewood was a trap, and the real horror was just beginning. They fled toward the front door, desperate to escape until a voice, silky and sinister, echoed from the shadows behind them. "You can't leave, it's not your time." Yet the door slammed shut before they could touch the knob, freezing them in place. The shadows danced wildly, elongating, warping into terrifying forms. Lisa felt despair wind around her chest, squeezing tighter. This was an ultimatum. The truth was out there, waiting for her, but what if the truth was only darkness? Suddenly, the images on the camera shifted, flashing something she hadn't captured before, a pair of glowing eyes staring back at her, so achingly familiar. The face of the missing couple flickered for a moment. Then, they were gone, leaving only dread in their wake. With a twist of the heart, she knew some things were not meant to be unearthed. And now, the question loomed like a specter in the dark: what were they truly waiting for? Panic surged through Lisa's veins as the shadows writhed and twisted around them, each moment stretched to unbearable lengths. The heavily draped windows allowed only slivers of light, painting the illusion of safety against the encroaching night. Yet, as she watched, the darkness seemed to breathe, pulsating like a living entity, hungry and insatiable. "Mom, they're watching us," Max murmured, still transfixed, his palms slackening in her grasp. Her eyes darted to Lily, whose bunny seemed to dissolve into the shadows, its white fur soot-stained and grotesque. "Not now, sweetheart. We need to get out." Lisa's voice quaked as she pulled them towards the back of the house, the kitchen now a gateway to something far worse. Every step echoed, a rhythmic plea for help, and the laughter crescendoed behind them, a mocking reminder of their imminent doom. "Behind you!" she shrieked, turning back to face the shadows. What she saw made her blood run cold. Faces emerging from the black, pale features twisting into grotesque smiles. Some she recognized, neighbors who would wave to her when she mowed the lawn, now disfigured nightmare versions of themselves. A rush of adrenaline propelled Lisa forward, desperately trying to keep her children moving. As they sprinted for the back door, the shadows lashed out, curling tendrils grasping for them like desperate hands reaching for salvation. The door loomed in front of her. It was just a few more steps, but the shadows felt closer, creeping along the walls, pulling her back with a force she couldn't comprehend. "Let me go," she gasped, yanking the door handle. It wouldn't budge. The more she pulled, the tighter the shadows wrapped around her. "No. Please." The children shrieked as a low growl echoed around them, a dreadful sound that made her feel small and insignificant. Then, as if the house itself exhaled, the walls creaked and groaned, the very structure shifting, pushing inwards. "Let us out," she shouted, a primal scream born of terror. She slammed against the door, her body colliding like fragile glass. And then, silence. The laughter faded, sucked away as if the house had absorbed the sound. The darkness receded just a little, leaving a brief, astonishing stillness. Her heart thundered. "Mommy, our friends, they're sad," came Lily's voice, soft and trembling. It was the line between loving innocence and chilling naivety. "No. They are not our friends," Lisa snapped, her tone sharp as she turned to her daughter. "We need to go. The dark is lying to you." But how could she make them understand? The shadows shifted again, swirling closer as fear clawed at her mind. "What do you want?" she shouted into the merging blackness, her courage faltering but refusing to yield. A twisted smile emerged from the dark, a familiar voice resonating with cruel familiarity. "To play, Lisa. Just like we played before." It was Mr. Jensen, his face carving out of the shadows, his eyes glinting with sadistic pleasure. Memories flooded her, the late-night meetings, the strange coincidences that had drawn them to Maplewood. Should she have seen this coming? "What do you really want?" she whispered, dread lacing her words. "Join the game," he crooned, and with a wave of his hand, every window shattered, the sound a cacophony of glass raining down. Wind surged through the house, snatching at their clothes and filling the space with a haunting wail. Lisa's heart pounded in her chest. She felt the air thicken, oppressive like a weight above her. "Run!" she screamed, turning again toward the door as confusion and horror roiled through her. But the house twisted, blocking her path. What once was her home morphed into an endless maze of torment. Max and Lily clung to her side, and in that moment of pure terror, Lisa caught a glimpse of something incredible on the camera. The same faces from her neighborhood caught between worlds, pleading silently for release. This was a trap laid long ago. Whatever the game was, it was not meant to be played by them. The truth hung heavy in the air, toxic and suffocating. And then a whisper, cruel and clear, echoed again from the shadows. "You can't escape your destiny, Lisa. The game is only just beginning." A pull tugged at her heart, hope gradually being replaced with the chilling embrace of despair. Was there truly no way out? Now, standing in that swirling cauldron of darkness and fear, she felt it, the looming realization that the horrors she faced were not just for her but for all of Maplewood. They were being summoned for a purpose. But what if the truth they came to learn was something worse than mere darkness? The shadows thickened, drawing closer, and with a shuddering breath, she murmured, "What will it take to make you stop?" But even as she asked, the echoes of many pasts loomed larger, and she prepared for whatever answer the darkness had in store. Lisa felt time bending in that suffocating darkness, twisting every heartbeat into a countdown to something terrible. The hall seemed to stretch, drawing her and her children deeper into its cruel embrace. Max's grip slipped from her fingers, the shadows reaching for him like a lover denied. "Mom!" he cried, panic straining his voice, muscles quaking. Lisa turned, catching him just before he disappeared. "Stay close," she yelled, the urgency burning in her throat. The shadows shifted, forming into clawed hands that grazed her skin, cold as death. There was no escaping the realization now. They were surrounded, ensnared in a web of shadows that pulsed with their fears and regrets. As she stepped back, a series of whispers coiled around her. Join us, it was a choir of those once familiar, their voices laced with bitter nostalgia. Faces flickered in and out, grinning with malevolence. She gritted her teeth, trying to block it out. "No." The entities darkly giggled, their laughter merging into a single monstrous sound. The air crackled, and the ground trembled. Each step backward made the shadows grow bolder, snaking closer. "Mommy, I'm scared." Lily clung tighter to her side, the tremor in her voice a knife through Lisa's heart. "Me too, honey. But we need to keep moving." Lisa's voice held a steadiness she didn't feel, forcing her courage into the cracks of fear threatening to consume them. They stumbled forward, the kitchen looming with treacherous familiarity. Yet, the door they had once trusted now contorted with darkness, pulsing and warping, alive in its hunger. It seemed to taunt her, pressing inward, threatening to swallow them whole. "Help us," came the hollow call, laden with despair. Lisa recognized the voice. It was one of her neighbors, Mrs. Turner, who often baked cookies while their children played together. Now, her eyes were sunken voids, and her mouth twisted into an unnatural grin. "Help us escape, but how?" "Escape?" Lisa struggled to pull her thoughts together. "No," she yelled, heart racing. "You're not real." The laughter intensified. They were fading, each second blending the true faces of her friends into their nightmarish reflections. "Why would you fight us?" The monstrous Mrs. Turner continued, her voice dripping with sweetness before it turned vile. "We're already home, Lisa. Why don't you join us?" The ground beneath them vibrated with energy, echoing with each tap of her feet. It felt alive, every pulse syncing with the staccato beats of Lisa's heart. A glimpse of movement caught her attention, a shadow darting away from her. "Max, the cellar." She pointed to the door at the end of the kitchen, the only visible escape. But her son hesitated, turning wide eyes toward the gathering specters. "What if they want us to go there? Then we'll face whatever it is together," she insisted, pushing him forward, a collision of hope and fear propelling them both. The shadows surged forward, pressing against them with an icy breath that chilled to the bone. Lisa pulled Lily tighter, her other hand gripping Max's shoulder as they rushed past the ominous figures, blending laughter with fury. Just as they reached the door, it swung open, a gust of wind releasing a sickly sweet scent of decay. The cellar stood yawning before them, darkness so absolute it may as well be a void. "Go!" Lisa shouted, pushing her children ahead of her. A flicker of doubt gripped her, the shadows closed in, a wave of despair threatening to drown her. Suddenly, Lily screamed, "Mommy!" The shadows caught her foot, pulling her back, yanking her from Lisa's grasp. "No!" Lisa lunged, snagging her daughter's arm as the shadows howled in rage. "Join our game." Mr. Jensen's disembodied voice echoed as he stepped closer, his form undulating, blurring into something both familiar and terrifying. The room itself trembled, dark and demanding. "It's time, Lisa. Embrace what you've been given." Tears brimmed in her eyes. This was a choice moment rippling toward them. If she released her children, would they escape? If she stayed, she might never escape the darkness. "Max, Lily. We keep fighting. Together." But the shadows clawed at her sanity, pushing her to yield. Was this truly a choice? Or merely another trap in a game she couldn't comprehend? Lisa's breath quivered in her chest as she stepped further into the mouth of darkness. What awaited them below? The air thinned, suffocating her will. The truth she whispered as her heart drummed a frantic rhythm. Come play, Lisa. A chorus of voices beckoned, wrapping around her like chains, and she felt herself letting go. Then, silence. What awaited them in that cellar? Lisa held her breath, knowing the choice she made in that instant carried a weight heavier than anything she could ever imagine. The darkness swallowed them whole. Lisa felt the cold grip of despair twisting around her throat like a noose. Each breath was a struggle against the weight pressing down upon her. The cellar yawned deeper than she had ever imagined. Shadows danced along the walls, flickering like memories long buried. "Mommy, I can't see." Max's voice trembled, panicked. "It's okay, just hold my hand," Lisa urged, gripping the small, trembling fingers of her children tightly. Suddenly, the air erupted into a cacophony of whispers. Each shadow seemed to pulse with life, slithering against her skin. "Why did you come here, Lisa? You brought us back," the chorus sang, a blend of lament and malicious glee. Lily's small form trembled beside her, and Lisa could feel a tremor rippling through her own body. "We want to go home." Lily's voice, a simple plea, sent a shockwave of vulnerability through Lisa. Home. The shadows swirled, coiling tighter around them. "Home is where you belong. Why fight your family?" "Family?" Lisa's heart sank. Mrs. Turner's voice echoed in her mind, the twisted smile scrunching her face. These beings were not just shadows, they were the lost souls of people she once trusted, once loved. But love felt like a poison now, infecting her with fear and doubt. "You're not family," she cried out, knowing it was too late for denial. "Then why do you still remember us?" They hissed, a sickly sweet aroma wafting through the void. It was the smell of rotting flowers, a reminder of warm afternoons that had turned cold and lifeless. "Mommy," Max whimpered. Darkness thickened, smothering. Lisa squeezed her children's hands tighter, bravely stepping forward. "We need to find a way out." A voice flickered in the back of her mind, urging her to run deeper, to succumb to the despair. Another shadow loomed nearer, a faint outline materializing in the dark. It was a child, her neighbor, a little girl named Emily. Shadows clenched around her, her face distorted in grief. "I didn't mean to end up here, I just wanted to play." Lisa's throat tightened, battling an internal conflict. She remembered Emily, the giggles and games in the sunlight. "Play," she echoed, her determination waning. "But you're trapped." The child's gaze softened, her voice switching to a whisper laden with urgency. "You can help us make it right." The shadows writhed violently, forcing Lisa backward. "Help us? Help yourself." They lunged. Shadows rolled, thick as smoke. Lisa's world spun as the walls pulsed and convulsed around her, colors swirling like oil on water, darkness thickening, a tangible entity. "No!" Lisa screamed, as images flooded her mind, friends lost, lives unlived, pain buried deep. Faint whispers laughed, taunting her. "They only hold you back. Choose freedom." Suddenly a flash of blinding light erupted from the darkness. Lisa shielded her eyes, bewildered, while the resonance of forgotten laughter cascaded through the air. It felt wrong, disturbing. Like being pulled from the depths of a dream only to find that reality was worse. "What have you done?" The voices shrieked, the shadows rising in a frantic dance. There was movement and exit. The ground rumbled beneath them, vibrations shifting with a rising tide of despair. "Mom, please!" Max cried, the urgency cutting through like a knife. Lisa turned her scream into a rallying cry, "We will not be claimed." They ran toward the blinding light, the darkness clawing at their heels, a swarm of anguished faces screaming in retaliation. Lisa hurled herself through the threshold of the light. But as they broke free, a horrific realization hit her like ice water. They were not out yet. Her heart thudded in her chest, paralyzed by a chilling thought. If they were free, what lay ahead? "Where will we go now?" Lily asked, eyes wide with fear. Lisa stared into the unknown, where only darkness lingered. She had jumped out of one hell, but into what? Wherever it takes us, she replied, though uncertainty gnawed within. In that moment, she knew the real game had just begun. What awaited them in this new realm of chaos? The shadows wouldn't release their grip so easily. They had made their mark. And somewhere beyond the light lurked something darker than she ever imagined. The light enveloped them, blinding and surreal. As Lisa stumbled through, the sensation shifted. It didn't feel like freedom. Instead, the brightness became a smothering weight pressing down on her shoulders. "Mom?" Max's small voice broke through the haze. "Where are we?" Lisa blinked, trying to focus. They were no longer in that cellar, but in a vast, empty room. Walls of cold stone rose sharply around them, encased in shadows that seemed to blend with the light, creating a disorienting twilight. The air was thicker here, heavy with an oppressive silence, as if the very atmosphere held its breath. "Just stay close," she said, her voice strained and shaky. A low rumble echoed suddenly, like distant thunder. Max trembled, and Lily squeezed her brother's hand. They huddled together, the warmth of their bond igniting a flicker of resolve in Lisa's heart. She couldn't let the darkness claim them. "Over there." Lily pointed, her wide eyes illuminating a far-off door. It stood slightly ajar, a crack of deeper shadows beckoning them. Shadows that were all too familiar. As they moved toward it, the air seemed to grow colder. Each step echoed, ricocheting off the stone walls unnaturally, amplifying their fear. "Is it safe?" Max whispered. "Only one way to find out," Lisa replied, the words feeling heavy on her tongue. They inched closer, their breaths shallow, the door looming larger with each heartbeat. Trembling, she reached out and pushed it open. The sight sent a chill down Lisa's spine. The room beyond was filled with grotesque displays of memories, lifelike recreations of the things she wished she could forget. Pictures lined the walls, smiling faces of loved ones, friends she had lost to time, each seeming alive, staring back at her with unsettling familiarity. A family gathering, a sunny day in the park, each moment dripped with the bittersweet sting of nostalgia. "Mommy," Lily whispered, her small voice trembling in the heavy air. "Don't look," Lisa urged, turning away, panic sliding into her thoughts. But one image captured her gaze, a photograph of her and Emily, their smiles bright and innocent. Bile rose in her throat. "No, Emily, no." "Why are they here?" Max whimpered. "Because they are part of this place," Lisa answered, terror gripping her heart. "Something wants us to remember, to relive it." At that moment, the shadows thickened around them, coiling tighter, as memories began to flicker. The room pulsated with energy, drawing them deeper into the chilling embrace of their past. Lisa grabbed her children's hands again, gripping them like a lifeline. "We can't let them take us." Suddenly, the shadows surged, voices rising into a roaring crescendo. "You cannot escape, Lisa. They are yours to keep." The ground trembled beneath them, cracking open like a black maw eager to swallow them whole. Lisa felt her heart race, fear pounding in her ears. This was no mere darkness, it was a living thing, hungry for their memories, feeding on their anguish. With a sudden, desperate clawing, she pulled her children toward the door again, but it began to close, swiftly narrowing the gap. "Mom!" Max cried, his voice piercing the chaos. "Run!" Lisa yelled, adrenaline surging as she lunged forward, fear-stricken urgency propelling her. She barely slipped through the closing doorway, dragging Max and Lily along as she fell onto the cold stone floor of the next space. Heavy silence replaced the earlier chaos, but shadows still clung to the edges, swirling and whispering her name. "Did we escape?" Max's voice trembled, filled with uncertainty. "No," Lisa panted, panic surging as she surveyed their surroundings. Another daunting room awaited them, walls grimy and flickering with remnants of past lives. A chilling realization settled in. Whatever this is, it's not finished with us. A heavy thud echoed behind them, slowing their escape. The whispers grew louder again, and shadows poured through the doorway, menacing and insistent. Running would not be enough. They were hunted. What now? Lily squeaked, eyeing the emerging shadows with fear. Lisa's mind raced. We'll find a way out, but we have to face them. The shadows clawed closer, a wall of dark despair breaking forth in a wave, promising freedom in return for submission. We're not afraid, Lisa yelled, even as doubt wove its way through her resolve. As they turned to confront the darkness, the walls vibed with an unspeakable energy, and the world around them blurred wildly, teetering on the brink of the abyss. Hold on tight, she shouted, and the shadows roared in response, as if the very essence of their fear could be savored and consumed. But just how deep did this nightmare go? Where would they have to go to escape the darkness that threatened to envelop them? Tomorrow, they would have to decide fight or fall into the depths of despair. The shadows advanced, swirling in eerie patterns that seemed almost sentient. They took on forms, grotesque faces and writhing limbs extending toward Lisa and her children. It was as if the very fabric of their memories fed this darkness, giving it life. Max's grip on Lisa's hand tightened. What do we do, Mom? His voice trembled, punctured by fear. They want our fears, our memories. We can't let them win, Lisa shouted, trying to infuse strength into her words. The pitch of her voice shook as the shadows crashed closer, hungry whispers curling around them like smoke. Look! Lily cried. She pointed toward one dark corner where the shadows pulled back, revealing an old wooden trunk bound with rusted chains. An ancient lock gleamed mockingly in the dim light. What's in there? Lisa felt a nagging pull in her gut. I don't know, but that might be the key. Without hesitation, she rushed toward the trunk, dragging Max and Lily behind her. The whispers fell silent for a moment, as if the shadows themselves were wary. Lisa dropped to her knees beside the trunk, fingers trembling. She examined the lock, its latch cold and unforgiving. Suddenly, the silence shattered. The shadows spoke in a cacophony, a horde of voices rising to an intolerable roar. Don't open it. Stay with us. Remember. Lisa hesitated, a flood of memories, some sweet, others bitter, overwhelming her. The faces of her family swam in her mind, flickering like the darkness itself. She felt herself weakening, a part of her wanting to succumb, to stay suspended in those memories of love and warmth. But she couldn't. Not while her kids were in danger. Hold the kids, she yelled, pushing them slightly behind her. With a deep breath, she smashed her palm against the lock, half expecting it to shatter. Instead, a shockwave surged. The air rippled like water, and the trunk unlocked with a deafening snap, sending the shadows recoiling in fright. Lisa swung it open, adrenaline coursing through her. Inside lay a tangle of objects, old toys, photographs, and a small, glowing orb pulsating with light. It vibrated with energy, drawing her closer. As she reached for it, the shadows convulsed, shrieking in anger. No! They howled, the darkness deepening, becoming more furious. You were meant to forget. It's time to remember. Time to fight. Lisa screamed, her voice cutting through the chaos as she clasped the orb. Heat radiated from it, spreading through her limbs. The shadows recoiled, as if burned. The whispering became cries, the sound of countless souls pleading for release. Leave her, return to us never. Lisa roared, pulling Max and Lily close, the light now flooding the room, pushing back the shadows. We will not belong to you. As the light expanded, the darkness writhed and screeched, the pictures on the walls twisting and breaking apart, the memories becoming nightmares that melted away. Lisa felt stronger, the more her fear faded, the more the light grew. I can feel it, Lily said, her wide eyes illuminating with the same determination Lisa felt. We're winning. But just as solace seemed attainable, a new sound broke through. A low, rumbling growl reverberated from the shadows, cutting through the brightness, a powerful entity that revealed itself as a dense mass of darkness, larger and angrier than before. It writhed and pulsed, its hunger palpable. A scaly, shadowy figure unfurled from the depths, an embodiment of all their fears and regrets, more terrible than they could ever imagine, inching toward them with malevolent intent. Lisa's heart sank. This was the true monster. The shadows had only been a winnowing force. Get ready. Lisa shouted as the creature lunged forward, its maw opening wide, devouring the light in the room. They had only one chance, but would they find the strength to confront this nightmare face to face? Together. Lisa urged her children, as they braced for the battle of their lives. Would they emerge victorious, or would this darkness swallow them whole? The creature lunged forward, shadowed claws slicing through the air. Lisa's heart thundered. Fear tried to clamp down on her thoughts, but she forced herself to focus. Lily. Max. Do not look away. The orb pulsed in Lisa's hand, its warm light contrasting sharply against the relentless darkness. She pushed the orb forward. Brightness roared from it, illuminating the twisted features of the monster, a hulking mass of shadow and malice. Stay behind me. Lisa cried, stepping forward. The creature hissed, a sound like grinding metal and splintering wood, erupting from its vast maw. It flicked its tail, making the walls shake. Max clutched Lily tightly. Mom. What if it gets us? We have to stand our ground. Our love, our memories, they're stronger than this. Lisa's voice rang with a fierce conviction, but doubt crept in. The memories threatened to drown her again, the warmth and security they carried were nearly intoxicating. Visions of family picnics, laughter echoing in the backyard, birthday parties filled with cake and song. But she forced herself to ignore them. She couldn't surrender. Not now. The monster lunged again, its eyes a pair of glowing voids fixated on the orb. With a sharp gasp, Lisa threw the orb at the creature. It collided with an explosion of light, a blinding flash that sent tendrils of darkness retreating. But the creature writhed, suffering but not defeated. It shrieked, a gut-wrenching sound that clawed at Lisa's ears. The shadows around them twisted, reeling like a storm. Foolish humans. You think light can vanquish me? Just watch us. Lisa yelled, trying to fill her voice with bravado. She felt the orb's energy flowing through her like wildfire. She lifted it high above her head. Max and Lily stepped beside her, determination etched on their small faces. The creature was close now, its breath a foul fog, threatening to snuff out everything they had fought for. Together. Lisa urged, feeling the familiar warmth from her children. They clasped hands, a circle of defiance against despair. Together, they channeled every good memory, their smiles and laughter feeding the orb, their fear transforming into fierce brightness. The orb exploded with an incandescent light that enveloped them, the pulse matching the rhythm of their beating hearts. The shadows shrieked louder, warping around them, whipping into a frenzied dance of anguish. Go back. You don't own us. Lisa shouted, forcing the light forward. Their combined energy formed a shield, creating a barrier against the darkness. But the creature, infuriated, surged forth, smashing through the edges of their light. No. You will be mine. It promised, its swollen form collapsing towards them, a mask of rage etched with bitter triumph. In that moment, Lisa's confidence wavered. Would this truly be their end? Suddenly, a flash of memory struck her grandmother's words. You're stronger than you know, child. The light within is always brighter than any darkness. With newfound resolve, Lisa pushed harder, feeling the light pulse through her entire being. The shadows convulsed trying to push through, but with every ounce of love she poured into the orb, the light glowed like a second sun. Now, Max. Now, Lily. Lisa shouted. They focused together, surged forward with all their strength. The orb exploded again, shooting a beam straight into the creature's gaping maw. Not today. They cried in unison. There was a terrible roar as the light engulfed the creature, ripping it apart, tendrils of darkness shriveling, shrieking for mercy. But beneath that chaos, a single, agonized whisper flowed through the air. Remember, you cannot erase us. The room fell silent, and for a brief moment, the air crackled with tension. The remnants of darkness hung heavy, still lurking at the edges of their vision. But within the silence, something began to twist and shimmer. From the piece of darkness that remained, shadows began to swirl again, forming into new shapes, new fears. Lisa's heart raced. "Mom? What's happening?" Max asked, voice trembling. "Something is still there," she murmured, the confidence in her voice all but fading. The shadows swirled, morphing into another grotesque figure, one even more terrifying than the last. A shriek ripped through the air, fanning the flames of desperation. Was the battle truly over? Or was this just the beginning of a nightmare they couldn't escape? As the creature advanced, Lisa's heart sank. The real test awaited them just beyond the light. The shadows twisted like sinuous serpents, coiling and uncurling, forming dreadfully familiar silhouettes. Lisa squinted, desperately trying to discern what they were becoming. A sickening weight filled her stomach as cold sweat trickled down her back. "It's changing," Max gasped, shielding Lily further behind him. The air thickened, no longer charged with the fading light of hope but heavy with palpable dread. What emerged from the swirling darkness was something neither of them could have anticipated. This new figure towered above them, shrouded in shadows like a living cloud of despair. Its features were vague and shifting, yet within the blur, Lisa could almost make out a face, her face twisted in agony, eyes wide with horror. "Mom!" Lily shrieked, reaching out, but Lisa pulled her close. "I want to let it take you," she hissed, fear breaking her voice. The specter creaked forward, melding the features of every lost soul Lisa had ever known. Every friend, relative, and stranger whispered their sorrows in an unending cacophony. "You are next, they echoed, the voices sinking deep into Lisa's psyche. "Close your eyes," Lisa ordered, keeping her children tight against her. Despite her urge to protect them, terror clawed at her insides, threatening to tear her apart. Why did it have to show her this? Why use her own torment against her? With trembling hands, she retrieved the orb, its glow flickering over the new threat. She took a deep, shuddering breath. "You're not real. You're just memories." The creature twisted, its form expanding as it leered at her, absorbing the light. "Real enough to haunt you, Lisa." It lunged forward, sweeping massive tendrils toward them. Lisa spun, raising the orb even higher, pouring her soul into the fragile light. "I want to let you win. Watch us," it taunted, fingers like smoke reaching directly for her heart, enticing her grief back to the surface. With every second, memories flooded her mind, blissful moments buried by pain, love entwined with loss. "Fight it. Focus on the good," she shouted, as her voice cracked beneath the weight of darkness. Both Max and Lily echoed her resolve, their small hands gripping the orb's base tightly. They surrounded it with love, laughter, joy, hopeful images of family against the chilling backdrop of sorrow the creature wielded. Light surged and fought the shadows with every fiber of their beings. The creature screeched, bright tendrils ripping through its murky form. It plunged back, recoiling, but Lisa could feel an eerie pull. The darker memories were compelling. She could nearly taste them, bittersweet and nostalgic. "No. Not today." Suddenly, a blinding flash erupted. They were back in the garden, laughter ringing in the air, the sun casting shimmering patterns on the grass. "It's too tempting," Max stammered, slack in her grasp. "No. I know my way." Deep breaths propelled Lisa forward, battling the pull of the phantom memories. This was just a trick. She pressed the orb forward again, pushing through the glowing entrance of their memories into the darkness with haunting fierceness. "Together," she cried, summoning every ounce of bravery, reaching for her children. But confusion flickered in their eyes as the vision distorted, golden hues fading back into sorrowful gray. The creature slithered back from the edges, morphing again. Now it took the form of their home, twisted and fractured, windows shattered, memories tainted. Lisa felt her stomach lurch. "Mom, what if it shows us something horrible?" Lily whimpered, squeezing her eyes shut. As Lisa held them close, a chilling question echoed softly in her mind. Was there a darkness deeper than what lay before them? In that split second of uncertainty, the shadows converged again. More than familiar faces flickered in a harrowing dance. Something even darker was awakening, and it was hungry, ready to devour. "Stay close," Lisa shouted, realizing too late that the creature wasn't just targeting her. It was after all of them. As they braced for another attack, a sinister laugh echoed through the chamber. The ground trembled underfoot, shaking the very essence of their hopes. Were they strong enough to face their demons again, or would this be the moment they lost everything? In the darkness, new whispers formed, cryptic and chilling. Could they hold on to their light one more time, or would this nightmare finally engulf them? The creature lunged forward, shadows swirling like a tempest. Lisa's heart raced, pounding in her chest. Each thud echoed louder than any scream she could muster. The orb flickered ominously in her grasp, slipping between her fingers, a tenuous connection to the bright memories that buoyed their spirits. "Mom, I'm scared." Max's voice trembled, practically shattering her resolve. "No. We can't back down now," Lisa shouted, forcing her children closer to her. They needed to remember the power of love, joy, no matter how twisted the darkness tried to twist it. Together, they could push through. "You're not real," she roared, the growls and whispers rising around them in a grotesque symphony. "You're just shadows. You don't own us." The grotesque figure surged, tendrils stretching toward them, threatening to snatch away their light. The whispers morphed into shrieks, wrapping around her like chains, trying to pull her back into despair. But Lisa refused to be shackled. "Max, Lily, hold on tightly to the orb. Focus on the light." As they gripped the orb together, warmth enveloped them. The memories of laughter, hugs, and warmth surged from within, fueling the light. Each giggle, each sunny day, unfolded in hues of shimmering gold and joy, pushing back the darkness that threatened to drown them. "No!" the creature screamed, its form twisting recklessly. "You forget how to play. You know the game is over for you." But Lisa felt the resolve solidify within her, the strength of mothers, the love of family, the courage that resonated through every fiber of her being. The orb pulsed fiercely as their bond deepened, wrapping them in a cocoon of radiance. "Together!" she cried, raising the orb as high as she could. The shadows recoiled, howling in agony. Lisa and her children shut their eyes, channeling every ounce of their being into the orb. Thoughts and feelings flowed freely, moments of joy, hope, and an unyielding bond threaded through their hearts. The light erupted, washing over the shadows, illuminating the space like a supernova. No longer simply an orb, it consumed the darkness, swirling through the shadows and tearing at the fabric of their fears. The creature howled, raged, but the power of love surged through them. "Go back!" they shouted as one, the pulse of their collective energy tearing through the nightmarish clutches. With an anguished roar, the creature thrashed, its form breaking apart in wisps of dark smoke. Memories it forged to belittle them peeled off, revealing the laughter and love they had shared in their garden, in their home, in the warmth of their family. One final push sent the creature shattering away, the tendrils of darkness dissolving into the ether. A bright light enveloped them, blinding and freeing. The monster that had haunted their existence was finally defeated. As the brightness faded a little, Lisa blinked away her stunned vision, her heart racing with adrenaline. They were standing in the aftermath, a sort of void where the shadows had once been, a space filled instead with light and the lingering echoes of memory. "Mom, did we win?" Max asked, voice filled with wonder. Lisa took a deep breath, her heart full both with loss and the precious touch of what remained. "We did. Together." But a shimmer of doubt chased her joy. The energy around them felt different now, a sense of calm, but also a whisper of unfinished business. Would the shadows ever truly dissipate? Just then, the ground beneath them quivered gently. A doorway appeared before them, glimmering softly, beckoning with promise. "Is it over?" Lily whispered, eyes wide with hope and fear. Looking at her children, Lisa's heart swelled. "I think it's the beginning of something new. We've shown how strong we can be." With a determined nod, she stepped forward, hand clasped tightly in her children's. "Together, they crossed the threshold. As they emerged into the sunlight, Maplewood greeted them, a vibrant, lively neighborhood, untouched by darkness but forever changed within them. Every small sound, the laughter of children, the rustling of leaves, felt like a reminder of hope. They would carry their courage, their love as shields, and though the memories of shadows would linger, they understood that they were no longer bound to fear. Where to next? Max asked brightly, his face aglow. Anywhere we choose, Lisa said with a smile, wishing they could leave the shadows behind. But she knew they would always stay vigilant, as loving parents should. As they began their journey into the light, the whispers of the shadows faded slowly. They had faced the worst and emerged stronger, wiser, and fiercely united. And with that, Lisa took a deep breath, inhaling the crisp air, and knew though shadows would always linger, her family was the light that would guide them forward. Now is your moment. You need to subscribe immediately so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that await you. Smash that like button now. Your support fuels the creation of these incredible tales. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. Let us chat about what you think is next for Lisa and her family. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful conclusion. Your support means everything, and only true fans understand the importance of our community's strength.